Guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a magnetic broom. The magnet doesn't get attracted to a piece of nylon or plastic, wood, aluminum, copper, brass, this kind of material. So to make this project, everything is gonna be made from aluminum or nylon. There is no material that can isolate the attraction force from the magnet to, let's say, a piece of steel. So let's say we have a block of steel here and the magnet here. I can put everything in between and doesn't isolate this attraction force. I can put a piece of wood, nylon, aluminum, brass, paper, everything, unless it's not another piece of steel. So the magnet and the steel block will get attracted, and the only thing that makes sure that it's not attracting anymore is distance. So distance is what isolates the magnet from the steel. Only distance. Now I'm going to draw some lines on the paper and show how this magnetic broom will work. To begin this project, I'm gonna put a magnet inside the aluminum tube. To prevent the magnet to fall off, I'm gonna smash the bottom end of the tube. In the upper end of the tube, I'm gonna put a piece of nylon and put 2 screws on the sides to hold it. I will drill a hole and tap it in the center to put a screw to hold all of this. This group of pieces will be called magnet from now on. Then everything is gonna be held by a broom head, which is a piece of nylon with a hole that will slide the magnet up and down. I don't know the measurements from the sides and from the bottom. Then I will put another hole to hold the handle, and in the other end of the handle will be the brake lever from a bicycle. The cable will pass inside the handle and connect to the magnet. A spring will prevent the magnet to stay in the up position, with a clamp holding the other end of the spring. I will try to put 3 magnets in the broom head. Then I will put a piece of plastic holding the 3 heads together. The spring will pull the 3 magnets together. To know the pull head of the magnet, I put a magnet on a rule and a steel chip on the other end of the rule. And then I find out that the measurement will be around 40 millimeters. Then I put 3 holes in a piece of wood and put the magnets inside to see the side attraction of the magnet. And I discovered it's about the same, about 40 millimeters. Now, knowing the measurements on the sides and on the bottom, I can apply that to the drawing. The distance between the 2 or 3 magnets will be 60 millimeters from center to center. Looking around in my workshop, I didn't find a piece that holds 3 magnets. So I found this square piece of nylon which will hold 4 magnets. I start milling this piece to make the right measurements on the sides. Then I start to drilling the holes for the magnets to slide in and out, and also the hole to put the handle, which will be very tight to hold the handle. Then I adjust the holes to make sure that the magnet will slide very freely. The 4 magnets will be the distance between each other of 60 millimeters. The aluminum tube, which will hold the magnet, is sliding freely, and the nylon piece that I will put in the head of the aluminum tube needs to be adjusted in the lathe. I will also make a hole on the center and tap it at 6 millimeters to put a screw on the center. Then I will cut the aluminum tube in 4 pieces in the same length to hold the magnet and the nylon. After that, it's time to make the bracket to hold the spring on the handle. I found another piece of nylon and I started making some marks where I will cut in the saw. Then that was a very thick piece of nylon, and when I was cutting the saw, it started melting and hitting the saw. So the melting part of this bracket, I started milling in the milling machine to make sure the measurements are correct and very squared. And I also made 2 holes, one for the handle of the broom and another for the cable to pass through. This square piece of nylon will hold the 4 magnets together for them to come up and down freely and together. So after making sure this square piece is very squared on the milling machine, I make 4 holes. After everything set squared, it's time for bending the tube which will hold the broom head. This tube, called the handle, I will bend in this machine. The angle I'm looking for is about 30 degrees. After bending the tube, it's time to check if everything is fit together. So the clamp is okay and the broom head is also okay. Then it's time to mount the magnets inside the aluminum tube. After putting the magnets inside, I smashed the bottom end. Then, after mounting the 4 magnets, it's time to put the piece of nylon on top. Since this piece of nylon is entered very firmly, it will not be needed to put a hole and a screw on the sides. Just the pressure of the nylon will hold the magnet. I couldn't put the nylon inside the aluminum tube, so I put that in the hydraulic press to press the nylon inside. Yeah, magnets are fun. They stick everywhere. Then I put the screws on the plate that will hold the 4 magnets and set them in the same height for the magnets to hit the bottom at the same time. The 4 magnets is sliding freely inside the broom head. As you can see, we need a force to pull the magnets up, which will be the cable. And to push in the magnets will be the force of the spring, which will hold the other end in this clamp. I put the spring on to make a test and see if it's too hard to pull the brake lever, and the spring will return the magnet. I made another test and put a steel chip on the bottom to see if the height of the magnet will release the chip. And everything is working so far. To put the cable inside the handle, I need to mark the hole where the cable will be going in and out in the other end. and put a screw holding the broom head and the broom handle, and another screw holding the bracket to the handle. The hole which the cable is going in needs to be bent, so I put a screw and just bend it. Now it's time for the assembly. So first I put the cable inside the handle and cut the ends of the cable to make sure the length is properly fit on the broom head and in the brake lever. Putting the 4 magnets inside the broom head is easy. It is sliding freely. Putting the bracket on the handle requires some force. And then I put the screw to make sure that this bracket doesn't move side to side. By putting the brake lever, I realized that the travel of the lever is not the same of the travel that I want. Adjusting the cable, and I realized the travel of the lever is about 34 millimeters, and the travel I want is 40, which will be the travel that the magnet will attract and release chips. So anyway, I put the spring and put the screw to hold the broom head to the broom handle, and put the spring inside the cable was a pain. To hold the cable, there is a screw on this plate which will hold the cable very firmly, and everything is working fine with less travel that I want. Now I just cut the cable and everything is working fine, but as I told you, the travel is not what I needed. So with less travel will be less force pulling the chips from the ground. In this test, I'm pulling a lot of chips from the ground, but will be a lot more or something more if the magnets will stay farther in the broom head. As you can see, with the magnets up, the chips, it's not gluing to the broom head. So there you go, a magnet broom. Even with some flaws, it's working just fine. I hope you enjoy it.